Hello, hello. I had to put on some chapstick. Some stick of chap. Yes. There we go. Much better. Much better. Alrighty. We did a YouTube live for an hour. Now it's TikTok live for an hour. Yay. Because this is how we do it. And there we go. Connie and Blonde Cheryl and Rhonda and Betty. Oceanana. There we go. Nice to see you on the flip side. And Gardner and Becky. This is what we call, I'm going to use my spoon. This is the romper room portion of the show. Yes, Lori and Becky and Abbott Elementary. Nice to see you all. So I see some familiar names and faces. I see some unfamiliar names. And yay, we're all here. There we go. Whee! Laura Gibbon Voorhees swung on my vine over here in Tiki-Taki. Yes. So we're here for the next hour. We are. Now this can be a fun kind of crew. But this is also where we may have some people who ain't never heard of Destination Decluttered. Excuse me, I'm just trying to close some tabs here. So in case we haven't met, and I may say this a couple of times because we're here on TikTok. If we haven't met before, no limits, nice to see you. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, I am not often on TikTok anymore, no. But I've decided, especially in these times of contention, it's not my intention. It is my intention to make things plain. I think I'm talking like the Buzzcocks, but I digress. Is to remind you that there's help out there for your decluttering. And also, so much of it is about figuring out what's going on from the skin within. How you're feeling physically, how you're feeling emotionally, spiritually, mentally, nervous system-y, and to start working that way, okay? Because if you're not decluttering easily, you're on your own without kind of help, that you probably have some thoughts and feelings behind your stuff that's stopping you from doing it. And here, look, Kristen Bedard, see this? These are my good vibes. Woo! She's fixing to get ready to purge paper and organize her office. Send good vibes. Good vibes have been sent. Painting a Baduck is also sending you good vibes. You know? So Therapy Gal Sue, nice to see you. On Crash, so all sorts of people. So yeah, I come here to send you good vibes. Because you know what good vibes are? That is confidence. That is trust. That is me knowing you can do it. And here's the wonderful thing. I don't even know all y'all, right? I don't think I've met any of you guys in person. But I've met you online enough to know, and even if today, I know because I've done it myself, and it is not rocket science, that you can do this. Now, I'm not saying it like in a forceful way. I'm just saying it in you got this. Now, are there nuances of decluttering that jam you up? Are you not a good parallel parker? There are skills in decluttering that you can learn a way of doing it, an order of operations, a process, and you can practice it and you can get better. That's why I'm here. But even from the get-go, I want to establish this, that you know a lot more than you probably give yourself credit for. Let that soak in. Madge, you're soaking in it. You know how to do, or just in general, you just know a lot more than you may be giving yourself credit for it. Okay? So what I say is, do what you know how to do and feel good about it. Okay? And what you don't currently know how to do, like there's many things I don't know how to do, if you are interested in learning them, then take some lessons. Show up and ask a question so I can, share my process how I do it. But that's if you want to learn it. If you don't want to learn it, you're not going to learn it. So it's got to be up to you. But you do know how to do a lot of this stuff. Whether you're doing it or not is a different story, but you do know it. Now, maybe it's just getting started that can be hard. Getting over the inertia. Trust me, I was in bed this morning. It's gray out. It's raining. I could have gotten up and walked, but I hit the snooze button. I was tired. It also looks cold and rainy out. Do I want to go walk in the rain? No. It's not going to make me feel good. I want to go walk in the sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine, right? But you can do it. So how can we maybe get you started? You know, are you not starting? Maybe it's because you don't see what's in it for you. I'm all about what's in it for me. What's this going to get me? If I do this, what do I get out of it? Now, I love this. Damn it, Donna says, moved all of our daughter's wedding boxes out of our home. Yes. Awesome, friend. Congratulations. Shirley believes for sure you can do it. Awesome. Good. Morning, Boston Sports Girl. Nice to see you. And Painting of a Duck says, your encouragement always gets me moving. Okay, Star Queen says, starting is the hardest part for me. Yeah, it is for a lot of us. It is. Me, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. What helps get me out of bed, though, and gets me going from being in park or without even my engine turned off, because here's me too. I talk a lot as if I'm driving in the car. And so, Star Queen, what I want to offer you is notice if you were in your car, what might get you motivated, might get you going, might get your engine getting warmed up, is having gas in your tank in the first place so that you can do it, but also knowing that you were excited to get to a certain destination today. If you're in your car and you know you're driving to a job you hate, you're going to be dragging your feet. But if you know in your car that you're driving to the beach, you're going to be probably racing in there, you know? So if starting is the hardest for me, maybe let's work on your destination. That's why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Do you see the benefit that decluttering will get you? If you don't, then let's remind ourselves of the things that will help you feel better when you're decluttered, right? Now, Bobby Dugas says distractions are strong. Yes, we live in a completely distracting world, more so than ever before. Think about 150 years ago. Now, I just realized when I said 150 years ago, I can't do the math, but like the 1850s or something, 200 years ago, 1824, how fewer distractions there were. Nowadays, we live in a society that is distracting, and also a lot of things thrive on our being distracted. So learning how to focus in a distracted environment is a skill. To learn how to focus even when things are distracting. You know? There we go. That's one of the things I do too. Laura Gibbon Voorhees. So Laura says, Beth, you have helped get me out of bed a number of times. Your live is scheduled on my to-do list. Okay? So honestly, me scheduling this live got me out of bed. I was grateful to prior me who set up a schedule, who said, yeah, you know what? I could get up at 8 o'clock on a Monday, April 7th, and I could do an hour on YouTube, and then 9 a.m. I could do an hour on TikTok. That sounds good. And I wrote it down for me. And here's a really important thing. External accountability. I told someone else that I would show up. And I made a promise. I made a commitment. And I like to consider myself a trustworthy person. A person worthy of your trust. And so even if I was dragging my feet, I was going to be, come hell or high water, I was going to show up at 8 a.m. on YouTube. So notice what I did to get myself up. You know, Damn it, Donna says you help with the Manic Mondays so much. Now, if you're manic on a Monday and you're not Susanna Hoffs or any one of the Bangles, if you're feeling a bit manic, I highly recommend sitting down, quieting down, slowing down, drinking down some water, and writing down. Get your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Okay? There we go. Hales, hey, been a while. Last time I see you was before you went on vacation. You know what? This is the first time I've shown up. We showed up. We flew home last night. So this is the first time since at least this vacation. I go on multiple trips, traveling. And I will be unexpectedly in a few weeks, but I'll tell you guys more about that in the coming days. But notice what I have done to help me get going. And I also have connection, you know. That helps me too. Okay, Hales, matching socks. Okay, I don't know how there's so many mismatched one, you know. Do the best you can with the socks you have, Hales. Seriously, do the best you can. And then just laugh at the fact that, I mean, just think about how many people say that there's that, like, that fourth dimension behind the washer or the dryer that has the socks on it. You know, put the ones that don't currently match in a bag, label the bag with a date, see if you come up with any other mismatched socks in about a month. And if, you know, if you can't find a match for them, that's okay. I don't know how many mismatched ones. That's all right. You don't have to know. But sometimes socks, especially if you try to buy socks that are all the same, even if you think they're all the same, they might be from different batches. One may inadvertently shrink more than the other. I know this because I tried that. I'm going to get all the same ones from the same manufacturer. Even those ones, I can't match up. Now, this is one of the reasons why it's so easy for me to match up my little footy socks from Target, because they have like different colors on each one of them, so I match up the colors. But I bought all black socks from the same manufacturer. I swear each one of them's a little bit different, you know? So, and Hannah is asking, do you want us to jump over to the other place today? No, I actually was on the other place. So to be very clear, and again, if we're just meeting, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I offer this. Please do not follow me here on TikTok. You can if you want, but I don't show up a lot. I usually show up 1 hour a day to do a TikTok live that's scheduled. So Hannah, this at 9 to 10 is scheduled here on TikTok, but I was on YouTube, Destination Decluttered on YouTube, from 8 to 9. Also, I will clue you guys in that every week this week, with the exception of Wednesday, the YouTube live will always be before the TikTok live. So if you want to know when those are scheduled, you get on my mailing list, which is free, and it's not spam. And really what it does is the emails aren't even the most important part. It's that you get access to the page that has the schedule on it, like the hidden page just for subscribers, to like the, what was I calling it? TV guide. Yeah. So there we go. Alrighty. So this is funny. Seeing? Yeah. So yeah. Good morning, Erin. Nice to see you. Yeah. So Hales ends up buying new ones with her socks. Yeah. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. And Star Queen is saying they actually plan their escape. Just wear the mismatched ones. It could be fun. It could also bug the life out of you. I know that that's one of my things. You know, it's like one sock is higher than the other, or one's a little bit thinner. I don't know if I could handle that. You know? Yes, and the mailing list isn't really spam at all. I send very few emails. What I will say is, though, people on the mailing list, the best thing for you to do is just keep on checking the secret page, okay? The secret page, because that's where I update things. Because I will be, yeah, okay, I promise all the socks go into the hamper at the same time. Yeah, well, you know what? There might be a portal to the fourth dimension in your hamper, or in your washing machine, or in your dryer. Okay? Yeah, and see, Laura Gibbons says, I am matchy OCD. Mismatched is a no-go for me. And you kind of rhymed that way. That's a little, you know? So it's something that's literally on Hallmark cards. So, Hales, you're not alone. You're not alone when your socks go errant. It's okay. It's going to happen. So this is what I recommend for everybody. And actually, here's a funny thing. I think it was, I would check now, but could check would. There is one evening declutter live that happens on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And I swear we spent a wicked long time about socks on last Wednesday night. So you could watch that. But basically what I offer to everybody is match up the socks that are easy to match. The ones that are not currently matched, don't throw them away right away, but maybe put them in a bag and put a label on it, or just put a piece of paper that says, you know, from the wash load of this date and time, you know, mismatched socks, but put a date on it. Put it aside, because, you know, and then wait for another few things of laundry to go through. Are your socks still matched up? If so, maybe, you know, a month later, and then no other ones had kind of snuck back through the portal, right? If they haven't, then you'll know, I don't know, for whatever reason. You could freak yourself out wondering why. You could dismantle your washer, your dryer. You know, somebody said that their pet likes to grab the socks and hide them away on people. You may have inadvertently dropped one on the way to the laundry room and it got shoved underneath the sofa. Who the hell knows where the sock goes? But don't beat yourself up about it, you know? And so, yeah. And so Laura Gibbon Voorhees has a basket of solo socks and she calls it the orphanage. Yeah, maybe she'll be like, you know, trying to be more like, what is it? The guy with the boat in the rain? Noah's Ark? And you've got like 2x2s, the socks are lining up and going on the ark, and these ones are waiting outside, right? Yeah. Patty SK is offering, mine sometimes get caught up in a fitted sheet, you know? See, it happens to everybody. It does, you know? Now, so socks, Teatro and Hummels in China, GGX 2000. Ideas on how to sell. Yes. Okay. The orphanage is getting overpopulated. Yes. So maybe it's time to say you might just need to dispose of them. Okay. But GGX 2000 has Yadro and Hummels in China. Ideas on how to sell it. Yes. This may be tough to hear, but this is going to be your first step. In order to sell something, you have to see if there's somebody out there who's willing to part with their money to get it. You need to see if there's an audience. You need to see if there's somebody, a buyer. Anybody buying it. Okay? So, GGX 2000, what I would do if I were you, I'm not kidding, I would get that stuff in front of me, and I would sit down in front of my computer, and I would do a Google search. And I would probably start, honestly, on eBay, completed searches, and I would look for the exact same thing you have. Whatever you have, especially Yadro, Hummels, and don't just look for what people are asking. See what completed sales have bought. And also note if the people have added in shipping, stuff like that there. And notice what the current price is for those things. Now, it may be a surprise, and it may be more than your people bought, so yay, it's an investment. Or it could be that the market dropped out of it and ain't nobody buying it because so many people are flooded, the market is flooded. Okay? So before you even get your hat set on selling anything, and this goes to everybody who is thinking of selling anything, that you're holding on to something because you say it might be worth something, find out if it's worth something right now. And then make a decision based on that, because I want you, as I said yes in my last thing, I want you to work smarter, not harder. And notice how I put R's in those words. Notice how I reined in my Boston accent. Smarter, not harder. Don't spend a lot of time selling something that you're going to end up, your hourly rate will be less than minimum wage. Okay? Now, if you want to, you can, but I offer to you that it takes the same amount of time to list an item that goes for $1,000 and list an item that goes for $4. It takes the same amount of time, and it does take an investment of time and energy. It does. And so see if that time and energy is worth it, because time and energy are things that time you never get back, and energy you have to generate. So say, is it worth it to me to spend these resources to get $4? Now, I have sold stuff in the past. For decades, I used to sell stuff. Nowadays, I don't. But recently, I did. I mean, a couple of years ago, I sold a sweater for somebody that I got at the Salvation Army in Fitchburg, Massachusetts in the 90s for like $6, and I sold it for $250. But those are those unicorn items. It's not your everyday stuff. And trust me, Yadro and Hummels are everyday. Okay? I hope that helps. So see what the going rate is for those things. Okay? Hannah is asking, do you spend much time folding? I think I try to make everything perfect on repeat. No. I do a good enough. I'd never worked at the Gap. My husband and I laugh every time we try to fold it fitted sheet. We just go, oh, yeah, this, and we go, boop, 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 and we put it in a ball, and then we put it in one of those boxes. Yep. Yep. Now, I'm here. Yep. Somebody is offering you can use socks for dusters, but also don't save all of them for dusters, because then they might get inadvertently, somebody may think they're socks, you know? Now, Stacy Babbage, this is interesting. Oh, good. Yay. And this is excellent. GGX2000 is saying, I started that and I'm surprised that some are rare. Awesome. Yay that there are still people out there collecting. Now, Stacy is saying younger people aren't collectors and it breaks my heart. I'd be curious why that breaks your heart. Just curious. I love it. Yeah. And I love it because this is Painting of a Duck does what I'm kind of at now. I pretty much only donate unless it's a large item like furniture. Even if it's worth a bit, I know someone will be happy to get a great deal on it. You know? Oh, hey, there we go. Abbott Elementary, you and your vintage service merchandise vanity. I love it. I love it. She just posted it to a Facebook marketplace, and she's had that as long as service merchandise was around. Right? Yep, you could use old socks to polish shoes. The only thing I will say is, if you decide to keep some of your single socks as, instead of being socks, they are now polishing things, do something to designate them so somebody doesn't inadvertently get them back in the cycle of socks. Okay? I don't know if you want to like write on it. If it's a white sock, you could write like polish or put an X on it to be like, this is not a sock anymore. Okay. I want to offer that for me because I've done that before. Yeah. Yeah. And Bobby Duga says young people do collect, but not the same way. Not all young people are the same. No, not anybody of any age is the same, you know, and collecting, trust me, you guys, I come from a collector family. I have collected for decades. Collecting can be fun to some people. Some people never get it, no matter how old you are, whatever age you are, it just doesn't, some people don't see it. Other people thrive in that environment, you know? So other people don't. And some people do, and like me, I feel like I joke that I'm a recovering collector because I used to, that's how I spent my time and energy and energy, time and money and energy was collecting stuff. And then I collected a lot, and then I sold things. And then I got bored with selling things, and then I moved into a house, and then we decorated for a while. And now we're pretty much good with what we have. I love that, feeling good with what we have. Do I keep the door open for things that like kind of shoot through the roof to be like, oh my gosh, I have to buy that? Yeah. But am I actively going out and collecting now? No. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. And that's okay. I don't judge people for their collecting or non-collecting. Yeah, Jilly P. What to do with China sets? No one wants it on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so a couple of things, much like I said up there. See if you're thinking of selling it, see if anybody's buying it. Now, you guys all probably have heard of Replacements Limited. They have been around for forever. They've been around since pre-internet because I remember buying a replacement piece of my parents' china for them when somebody put one on a hot oven thing and it broke. They will pay you pennies on the dollar, you know? Yeah. So the neat thing is, and I love this because Painting of a Duck, I think you and I are going around the same thing. Notice how you're saying China sets. You're thinking of the whole thing that's a set. Here's a tip I want you to write down. Chunk it down. Chunk it down. Somebody may not want the whole set, but could you use a portion of the set? Like, for example, you know, if we've just met, again, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. And I have previously done TikTok videos from around my house. So you will notice, and maybe even in the background, you will notice that I like collect things of a vintage era. So I am not really your grandma's china kind of gal. However, my grandma had china, and it's at my mother's house, and my mother's in her 80s. And so I am getting the china. Now, does it go with my decor? Not so much. But what I did was I started already, and instead of getting the whole set, I said to my mother, because she doesn't use it anymore, but it looks good in a corner cupboard, can I have the dessert plates? And she said, sure. So I took the dessert plates. I now use those dessert plates when we have people over and we're eating dessert. Okay? So do you want some of it, Jilly P? And the answer can be no. Do not, if you don't want it, you don't have to keep it. What I will say is that you don't necessarily need the whole set, but you might want to keep, you know, a teacup or something. If you don't want to keep any of it, totally, totally fine. But just know that, yes, there was an era in our society, our American society, maybe elsewhere, but I'm American, so that's where I speak from, where it was a big effing deal to have a set of china. There are some people out there who still think that's a big deal. Good on them. Awesome. But for a large majority of us, our lifestyles have gotten more casual than formal china. Now, you can still use them. I mean, use the dishes, put hot dogs on them. Nobody says you can't eat a hot dog off of a Wedgwood plate, you know? Now, Jilly P, replacements will show you. This is the difference, and this is what we were talking about, like what people are asking for. Replacements is going to show you the retail price that they will get paid if somebody wants it, because they have to pay all the overhead. When you say you have it for sale, it's going to be like pennies on the dollar. But you can look. It can be fun to find out what makes an ocean wave, you know? The other fun thing could be is if you live near them. I think they're in one of the Carolinas. If you live near them, you can, and instead of having to ship it, because if you sell it to them, you also have to pay the shipping to get it to them. You can drop it off. Like you can make an appointment to drop it off on certain days. But it's a start. It's a start. But notice a couple of things we did right here. Is first of all, if something is in a whole set, you don't need to keep the whole set. Like my mother's china, she has a set and it includes like bouillon cups, which is pretty much a teacup with an extra handle on it. I am so not going to use those. And I can't even think of what to use them for. I'm a functional person, so I'm not going to save them like just for decoration. Those may be something I do. Who knows? I'm wacky enough. I just may take a road trip to replacements and say, here, I want to drop this stuff off and give me $5, just so I know that they're going to be available to somebody else who might want them. You don't need to use the whole set. You can save some. You can save none. You can also use the formal china for informal occasions. Yeah. And Kara knows because she used to sell this stuff. She says, honestly, china sets are hard to sell. Most are not worth much. Beth is giving you good advice. Keep a few things and give away the rest. Yeah. Imagine the space you will have when that china set is moved on to a new owner. Yes. Now this is cool. Hale says, do you carry around your good stuff journal around with you or does it stay at home? Oh, hell, this goes with me. Because I'm going to forget. I will forget the good stuff that it happens. Okay? So for example, this is me right here. This was me on Thursday, April 3rd. I brought this with me. Look, Epcot 2025, April 3 to 6th. And I wrote down the good stuff as it happened. Because if you asked me now, what did you do on Friday morning? I'd be like, I don't know, stuff. But because I took pictures and I wrote it down, I knew that on Friday morning, I was writing in this book on the giant balcony wearing my hotel robe. I wrote that down because it felt good. I walked around a lake. I chilled in the room. I met with friends. We went to a show. Yeah, I don't remember what I did 2 days ago. And not that I necessarily need to. But sometimes the act of recalling the good stuff I did makes me appreciate where the hell I was. I didn't know if our room was going to have a balcony at all. But I asked, and they said, yeah, it does. And then it ended up being humongous. That delighted me. I love delight. What can I say? Okay. Soaring Butterfly. Soaring Butterfly says, my folks are huge collectors and have 3 houses worth of stuff. I dread having to sell it. I hear you. I hear you. What I will offer is start casing the joint. Really. If they don't want to participate in the preparation of selling stuff, if it's too traumatic for them, that's okay. They don't need to know that you're secretly looking at stuff and taking pictures and seeing what's worth something and what's not. I know that can sound really creepy, and I don't mean it to be. This is a self-preservation thing for you, Soaring Butterfly, because if it's their collections and you don't want it, you know that already. So start to get a handle on what they have, and you can even ask them questions. What is this? Oh, that's not just plain white china. That's from Rosenthal or whatever it is. They could tell you the stories. That might increase the value to some people when you know the provenance, as they say in the biz, about that. You know? Yeah, Bobby Dugas, I am totally, that's what I collect now, is delightful moments. Delightful moments. And where I collect them is I experience them and then I record them so I can relive them. Yeah. Yeah, Painting of a Duck says, my husband's grandma gave us a full set of silverware 15 years ago. We kept a few and donated the rest. Yeah. There was an era where it was a big deal for some people to collect and to buy things, to say, we have the money to purchase these things. This means something, that we have a tangible product that reflects the money we have. Things can be different now, you know? Yeah, you can repurpose jewelry. Schools have Mom's Day, or students could choose something for their mother. There we go. Laura Gibbons Voorhees says, my parents collected beautiful, realistic wood carvings of birds. My dad passed away. Mom let us choose our faves that we wanted to keep, and the rest she donated to a local wildlife center. Awesome. Yeah, my dad used to collect things that I had no interest in. Duck decoys, paintings of dead birds, shotguns, baseballs. I mean, talk about being a boy, huh? What boy things to collect. Now, we sold his stuff, books. We are selling his stuff. It doesn't mean we don't love our dad, but our dad had a fun time collecting his stuff. Do we need to keep that stuff to remind ourselves of our dad? No, we will always remember our dad. We were talking about how you can hear a song. Literally yesterday, I heard the song Begin the Beguine by Cole Porter, and I texted my mother and my sister because I said, I just heard Begin the Beguine as I was walking this morning in the sunshine in Florida. And I said, thanks, Dad. And my sister said, oh, we heard that the other day. So just because you don't want it doesn't mean you didn't love the person who kept it, who collected it, including yourself. You could spend some time in your life collecting something, and then you could see, yeah, you know, I'm done with that. I've played with those toys. Now I'm ready to put them back out into the wild for circulation. Okay? AC Wild has a bunch of artwork to get rid of, just might burn it. Go for it. I do not declutter shame anybody. If you have a way that you think is going to work for you, do it. The only thing I will highly recommend is if it's something that might be useful to somebody else, that you find a way to donate it. Because if there's somebody out there who could use what you have, that would just be a nice thing to do. You know? Yes, Jilly P says you find what you're looking for. Find the best moments of the day, and I love your journal. So do I. Man, and the neat thing is, frankly, I am thinking about the boxes that I've saved for years with souvenirs. I have literally, this is going to be 2 years worth of good stuff. It'll be so much easier for me to keep around. After I die, do I want anybody reading it? They can if they want, but it doesn't matter about them. It's about me. Okay, good morning, good morning. Yeah, AC Wild, sometimes we don't even realize what we collect until it hits a point when you say, oh my gosh, I really went through a pink phase. I really went through a colorful container phase. I really went through a snow dome phase. I really went through a kitschy ashtray phase. I'm just going by what I have. My tiki phase, my swizzle stick phase, my matchbook phase. I know what that's like. Now I'm more mindful of what I collect because I want to make sure I have a space for it. Okay? Yeah, Gen X was surrounded by older family members who were really into that. I fell down the China rabbit hole. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Now, I donated toys to a library and barely could let it go. This is the one thing I offer you, and this is why I'm a decluttering coach. Now, some people are like, why do you need to coach people? Because decluttering can bring up emotions. And it can make it feel painful, and it can make it feel struggly. I show up to remind you that there is a way that you can remove the items in your home that you don't like, but you can do it in a way that makes you feel good, and not just feel good in the moment, but feel good long term, so you regret fewer of your decisions. Okay? So, now, good morning, Judy Dukes and LBD. Mocha says, my mom passed 2 years ago and cis executor can't face cleaning out her house. Yeah. Yeah. And it's because, you know what? It brings up emotions. And some people are afraid of feeling emotions. They are afraid. I know this myself. When we feel emotion, we are afraid that once we start, it will never stop. Let me dispel that myth. You will run out of tears. Your tears will stop. Your anger will empty out. you will not be in that active state forever. It is like a rainstorm. This is how I think of it. You see it ahead of you, and you know that it's going to be a rainstorm. Now, there's cool stuff on the other side of the rainstorm, the cloud with the stuff, and you can see it ahead. But if you see it and you're afraid of it, you're always going to be turning to the left or the right to avoid it. You will never get to the good stuff on the other side of the rainstorm, and you will always be keeping that in you. When you allow yourself to feel the feelings and get through it and release it and let it go, you will feel so much better. But you know what? I can't tell your sister that. She's got to feel that for herself. But just know that it can be very stressful, and people are afraid to feel their feelings, especially the sad ones. But when you don't feel the sad ones, it makes the not so good ones, like the good ones, like the contrast, you know? So good morning, good morning. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And AC Wild says, letting go of thoughts and emotions is a skill in meditation. Yep. There we go. Okay. Now here. Yep, I clung to the stuff and clung to the emotions. And notice that clinging feeling. Now, Jessica Woodard is saying, since losing my son in August, oh, hon, my home has become a disaster. Understandably. No shame, no judgment. Today, I start decluttering. Well, Jessica, I am here for you. So my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. I show up on TikTok maybe an hour a day on the weekdays. And I also do decluttering like a live like this on YouTube. Okay. A lot of cool people hang out here, a lot of friendly names. I get to see people and we just chat and support each other as we're going through this, because many of us are going through things. Maybe not the loss of a son, and my heart goes out to you. But just to let you know that there's help and there's a friendly community here. My TikToks, though, this is just how I roll. They are not scheduled at the same time every day. It's not like, Sesame Street is always on at 8 a.m. type of thing. But what I've done is I've made what I call like a TV guide. And I schedule my TikTok lives and my YouTube lives. And if you're on my mailing list, which is free, you get access to the internet page that has that schedule on it. So you know when to show up. It's kind of, again, like TV Guide, if you're old enough to remember what TV Guide is. So anybody here who's interested, who likes what you're hearing, who enjoys this kind of thing, I just want to offer to you, I have an email mailing list that you can sign up for. It is free. You go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, all one word, destinationdecluttered.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the first page. There's a little box there. You put your email address in. You promise that you're not a robot. You hit save or it's enter or whatever it is. And then you should be getting an automatic email that says, welcome. Smiles, everyone smiles, just like Mr. Rourke. And that has a link to a secret page that has decluttering party info. It has a free habit tracker. Many of us are starting this month. Many of us did it last month and it seems so good. We're doing it again. The schedule for the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives, all sorts of stuff for free. It's not behind any kind of paywall. So I just want to offer to you that if you're just starting decluttering now and you're going through that, I just want to offer that to you, that there is help, okay? And it's not just me, but other people here are sending you love. Now notice that sometimes you're going to feel emotions when you go through this. Like Cat Mom is asking Mocha if her sister will help. And sometimes no, they don't want to feel the emotion. Okay. Now I'm scrolling. Okay, good. We're giving her some nubbins. Good. Yep. Mocha, I will just offer this. You've tried so many times, I just make her upset. I would just offer this because this is what worked for me. I have for decades offered to my mother to help with the clutter. No, it took her till she was 80 years old, but I did it without pressure and without judgment, and I just let her know, much like I do to you, that help is there when you are ready. When you are ready, I can help you, but I'm not going to push you on a timeline that you're not ready. But when you start to feel ready, know that I'm there for you. Okay? Now, somebody is asking, what is decluttered? Here's what I say it is. Decluttered is a life where you can easily remove what you don't want. Either you never wanted it to begin with or you don't want it anymore. That you know how to release things that are not serving you. That you know how to take action to say no to what you don't want and yes to what you do. And it's a way of living that allows you to use those skills in your home, so your home looks better, functions better, you feel better in it, and outside of your home. That you can use that exact same process to say no to the stuff you don't like happening in the world and do things to increase the likelihood of what you want in the world is going to happen, because you know that it's safe to take action towards what you want. Okay? Now, Kimberly just cleaned out 2 bags of coats that she doesn't wear. Awesome. Yay. Now, here we go. Yeah, Cynthia, TV Guide. I know, right? Am I not Gen X? Right? We are all on this journey, called life. Some of us have stuff in our homes that weighs us down, that makes us feel heavy and stuck. If your stuff is making you feel heavy and stuck, you can do something about it. And I'm just here to share with you what helped me to easily release those things. Okay? And not easily all the time. I still have stuff in my basement. I keep stuff. I mean, I don't live a monkish life, more like the monkey's beach house. But what I want to offer to you is knowing that it's okay to let go of something. When you let go of something, it gives you space for something else even better. And sometimes the even better thing is just space. It's not having to take care of so much stuff. So Kimberly says, I have too many recipes. Help, how to store it? What I would offer you, Kimberly, and this is an important thing for me to let you guys know as far as the order of operations, I will never start with storage. To me, you have to sort it before you store it. Okay? So what I want to offer is, Sorry, I'm getting all jammed up here. No. Okay? Too many recipes. What I say, first of all, notice that you have too many recipes. Instead of figuring out how to store them, what I would say is get in the habit of using what you have. Use what you have. Have you made all those recipes? And are they ones that you want to save because they've been proven and you want to make them again? Or are they ones that you hope to use? So before you decide to make a home for it, or Mocha's offering digital scanning, sure, but that's just postponing it. Okay? What I want to suggest to you is if you have recipes that you have saved, start this week. Pick one recipe out and make it. Next week, pick another recipe out and make it, and then decide whether it's one you want to make again. And then, when you have used that recipe, decide, okay, some are my grandma's. Okay, yes, and I get that. But are you going to use them? Now, I'm not saying, trust me, I have recipes in a recipe book out in my kitchen that are not mine, that were saved by my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Will I ever make them? Maybe not, but they are a sentimental item that reminds me of them. But I have them in a little book, and I made the conscious decision to save them, not as a recipe per se, possibly, but more as something that reminds me of them. And it doesn't take up a lot of room. I have a little recipe box, those little metal ones, right? That's filled with recipes. I barely cook. But I have decided on certain ones that I've saved, but it's a sentimental item. It is not recipes. So notice the difference, everybody. Notice the difference between a truly, just purely functional item, a recipe you printed off from, recipes.com of something that looked good on TikTok, versus a handwritten recipe for making like the Marion fudge cake that Aga, made back in the 60s. So there's a difference between functional items and sentimental items. Laura laminated the old faves that are on index cards and put them in a folder. Yeah. So it's cool to save whatever you want. Yeah. But Laura says right now, if it's not sentimental and I don't make it, adios to the recycle bag. Yeah. So there's a difference. I divide items up into 3 levels. And some of them kind of cross-pollinate, but you've got surface clutter, you've got stored clutter, and you've got sentimental clutter. And you've got stuff that looks good, and you've got stuff that functions well, and you've got stuff that tells you stories. And so sentimental clutter is different than functional clutter. Sentimental clutter is stuff that tells you stories that may not mean anything to anybody else, but it means something to you. And each one of those layers has a spot in your life. Okay? I have surface clutter. Yep. A few little dribs and drabs. Not too much. I have stored clutter. I open up anything that is stored, and I just say stored clutter, but you have surface items, you have stored items, and you have sentimental items. Now, some of them are functional and good and whatever. The clutter is the stuff you don't want, but you struggle to release it. Now, Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I don't roast chestnuts, but it's the only recipe card with my dad's handwriting, so I keep it. Right, notice it is no longer a recipe. It is a sentimental item because when she sees that handwriting, it makes her think of her dad. Yeah. And Boston Spice Girl is offering. You could possibly frame a few that are handwritten and hang them in your kitchen if you want it like that. Or maybe you get like a little notebook and you save them in a little notebook and you can look through that. You could also, if it was your grandmother, maybe it's also other cousins and stuff in the family. Maybe somebody else wants a copy. You know, remember when Grammy used to make this? Now, it's so funny. I was hanging out with a cousin just 2 days ago, and we were talking about pretty much the only spices in my family, my grandmother's family, was like salt, a wicked lot of salt, and black pepper, lots of black pepper. And one of the things I realized was our grandmother, my grandmother and his grandmother were hanging up clothes. Our grandmothers were raised basically without a mother because my great-grandmother passed away when she was like early 30s and left 7 daughters, all under the age of 10. So they didn't really learn from a mother how to cook. So they picked up how to cook. They did the best they could with what they had. And so salt and pepper was what they had, so that's what they used. We weren't really a recipe family. We didn't have a lot of money and probably not a lot of food, you know? So notice that recipes can tell stories, you know? Yeah. There we go. Laura says, I always thought I'd put a cookbook together called The Dirty Ones. The cards got slopped on. Yeah. And there we go. Melly is saying, I changed the way I eat. So I got rid of the recipes that won't work and I saved the ones that do. Now that makes me think of a recipe that I have in my recipe book that was like a breakfast casserole, and it was almost like something you would have gotten like very heavy, you know, like a cream sauce and stuff like that. Now, I probably will never make it again, but my recipe book is also partially or mostly also a sentimental thing, because on those things I wrote down the days, you know, 2015, made this for the McClure's breakfast or Christmas brunch. So I may never make it again, but I remember I did make it once at this time, and it reminds me of when we went to that brunch. But notice that you save things for different reasons, and sometimes things stay at a practical level, and other times and many times things become personal. Things become sentimental. If this was a plain mug right here, I probably would not have saved it, and I would probably find something else to put my stuff in. But I bought this when I was over in Ireland, and I liked the sentiment. And I liked the fact that when it said, "You are here," it actually pointed to Ireland. I thought that was very clever. Now, I don't use it, because look, see how my hands are all kind of crumpled up in the thing? No, I use a huge, big old American mug. But I like this, so I save it, because this always reminds me of going to Ireland. If you are a sentimental person, that's okay. Yeah, recipe cards become almost like a journal. There's notes from my mom and my grandmother. And notice that's tying you into that connection between grandmother and mother. Now, I don't have nieces and nephews. I don't have kids. I have nieces and nephew. They might have children, but I probably won't keep they probably won't inherit the joy of cooking that I have. It's going to remain a book because it doesn't have a lot of stains in it because I don't use it. right? The one at my mother's house was kind of stained in chocolate and stuff because we would use it. But we live differently now. That's okay. I'm all right with that. I am all right with very few exceptions. I'm all right with 99.99 and 44/100% of the stuff in my house can go to somebody that I don't even know. But that 66/100 of it, of sentimental items that I would like to carry on in our family, I am very clear about what those are. But other than that, they can all go to somebody else. So, there we go. There we go. I'm glad you enjoy my advice, Jeff. Thank you. So, oh goodness, I just looked at the clock. We have like 9 minutes left. It is a Monday. Ugh, it is still gray and cloudy and rainy out. Blurg. I got some plans for the day. I made a plan to go walking. I don't know if it's going to happen because of the rain. You can make a plan and things can happen and it changed, but it's always better to have a plan and alter it than not have a plan at all. Now, I love it. Sherry Hooper says, I have a cousin who paints pictures of people's recipes with the recipe and who it is. That's awesome. Jennifer's got snow there. Oh, hun, come on. Ugh. You know? So, what I want to suggest to you right now is, there we go. User 8380 is saying, we are clearing out excess. Notice, clutter is excess, is too much. So someday it's not a burden for our children. Okay? There we go. Kat Roby's going to use this 10 minutes. She's got a pop-up scheduled Beth Blinders, she calls them. When I do these TikTok Live, she assigns herself tasks and she gets them done. 10 minutes, she's going to pay a bill. Go for it, Kat Roby. We're all cheering you on. Okay? What's your plan for the day? What's your plan for the day? Do you have stuff planned that is going to make you feel good? Or do you have stuff you have to do? Do you have stuff you want to do? Is it all work and no play? There we go. Sherry Hooper's got a doctor appointment. She's going to do some laundry before. What are you going to do after the doctor's appointment? You going to do something nice for yourself? Technically, I guess going to the doctor is a nice for yourself thing, but that's really adulting. There we go. Tammy Lee's going to get registered for the declutter parties. Okay, Tammy Lee, I'm glad you said that because here's a really quick thing. I made a plan, and now I'm possibly going to alter it, but it's all going to depend on you guys. Okay, bring your daughter to her therapy appointment. When she's in her therapy appointment, what are you going to do fun for you? Declutter parties. These are something we do, and I'm mixing it up this month, and I'm starting at different times on different days. Those of you on the mailing list, you know where to go look for that. Now, I have the opportunity. I unexpectedly got the opportunity to travel to one of my happy places, known as Palm Springs, California. I'm also helping a friend out there. But I may need to change some of the declutter parties. I will not change the start time of a declutter party that somebody has signed up for. But if nobody signs up for it, I may change the start time because I'm going to be in a different time zone. Okay? So I suggest to you that if you are at all curious about and interested in attending a declutter party in the month of April, for a minute there I had to remember what one is, look at the schedule now. The schedule is for the people on the mailing list. If you want to get on the mailing list, it's destinationdecluttered.com/join, the secret page, and sign up for the party. I will not change one that somebody has signed up for. I am good like that. If it works for you, I will make a plan to show up. But if nobody shows up, if I don't see that in the next few days, I may change the time. So the sooner you kind of lock into that, the sooner that party is going to happen. Okay? So yeah, and painting of a duck. Yeah, okay. There we go. I love it. Tammy Lee has just printed out your habit trackers. Also, yeah. There we go. Sherry Hooper says, enjoying some quiet time. Yeah, enjoying some quiet time can be beneficial. All right. Now, Irma says I have to take old papers out of my file box and file recent documents. Ugh. Why the ugh? Why the ugh? Isn't it great to get rid of what you don't want and make home for the more current stuff? Think about that. Yes, Painting of a Duck says, I love Palm Springs so much. You and me both. When I had the opportunity, I was on one trip. I was literally sitting there on one trip booking flights for another. So that's how I roll. User 1963 says, my daughter and I participated in a rummage sale at an antique store. We made about $150 in 4 hours. That's awesome. Fun. Okay. Now Rachel is trying to stick to the habit of Monday is cleaning the bathroom day for me. So fun. Haha. Trying to stick to this every Monday. You know? So yeah, notice that you're going to feel good when your bathroom is clean. And you can look forward to it being even more clean on every Monday. Now, Jim Girl says, what is the best way to tackle and organize my filing cabinet? Well, don't tackle it because you're not a football player. Maybe you are. But what I say is this, a little bit at a time. Open up one filing cabinet drawer. Notice what you have. Ask yourself why you are keeping it. Even though it made sense to keep it in the past, does it make sense to keep it now? Notice the categories you have. Why am I keeping these items? What is it the evidence of? Paper is an evidence of something. It's like, you know how they talk now about like bringing the receipts? What is that receipt proving to who? Do you still need that piece of paper? Okay, there we go. I love Sherry Hooper says folding this laundry is overdue, so it's making me happy to get it done. Okay, but also please everybody, I am always going to be, championing finding joy outside of housework. Finding joy in something you truly love doing, even literally, if it's sitting there waiting for your daughter and scrolling on TikTok. Don't doom scroll, fun scroll, joy scroll. Find some good stuff. Okay? Now, user 1963 says, I've done the declutter party. It's a great motivator and inspiration. Yeah, Laura's offering, play some fun music while you file your stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Irma, I don't know why it's an ugh for me. Notice the habit of thinking ugh. I love making sure, kind of like having fresh stuff, that I don't have any paper that's just sitting there taking up space that I don't need in a file folder. But if I let go of that, then I can easily file the new things. And Cheryl Hooper, Becky's asking for your cousin's info for the recipes. Feel free to get in touch with each other about that. That's awesome. Yeah. And Kat Roby paid her bill, yay, and now she's committing to a walk. Now, I'm not going to commit to a walk until I see what the weather is, but what I commit to is hanging out with you guys for the next 2 minutes. And then I've got some good stuff to do for myself. I've got some coaching. I've got some different things. I'm going to have a good day. I have a plan, but I'm also going to be flexible. Okay? So plan a plan and make sure every single day that you do something good, feeling good for yourself. This will help you fill up your tank and not just to do more work again. Okay, there we go. Jim Girl, you're on a treasure hunt, my dear. You need to find documents for Social Security. Yeah. So go on a treasure hunt. Look for that one thing and notice what else you have and just ask yourself as you're going through it, do I really need this? There we go. Damn it, Donna took a permanent marker and wrote in my left hand, want and need. Helped me so much. Also, I love it. Okay. 3 Cats in a Bun is going to declutter their freezer. It's a mess, and I don't know what's in there. Decluttering also gives you that opportunity to just see what you have and to get rid of what's expired. Okay? So I'm going to stay on for a minute. Okay, Becky and Cheryl, it looks like, Sherry, you got those things from each other. It is 9:59. One more time. Okay? Oh, hold on, TikTok. Let me just do this TikTok-y thing. There we go. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and what you've been hanging around with, however long you've been here, is Destination Decluttered. That is my decluttering life coaching. I will show up here this week on TikTok for an hour-long TikTok live, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I also do the same thing on YouTube. So there's 2 hours every day that you can tune in if you find this helpful. The schedule, however, is only for the people on the mailing list, but that's no big deal because the mailing list is easy to sign up for and it's free and I barely even email you. If the schedule is of interest to you and the decluttering parties we talked about and the habit trackers and all of this stuff that I just share, destinationdecluttered.com is my email. No, what the hell is it? It's my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You go there, you scroll to the bottom of the homepage, you sign up for the mailing list, you maybe see what my coaching's about, and then you get the schedule. Okay? It's easy as that. Okay? I am glad you guys are finding this helpful. If it wasn't, I would do something else. But if you find this helpful, I continue to show up And I just offer to you, make today a good day for yourself and for other people. And then we'll lather, rinse, repeat. And I'm going to sign off, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody.